Good afternoon. Today we are going for implied conditions and implied warranties. So already I told you about in the last class about what is a condition and what is a warranty. The difference between a condition and a difference between a warranty. All these things in the last class I told. And again I told you that conditions and warranties are of two types. Express conditions and warranties, implied conditions and warranties. Okay. Now, express conditions and warranties are nothing but the conditions and warranties which are expressly taken into account. That is either by words spoken or by written words. But implied conditions and implied warranties are those conditions and warranties which are to be taken into account by the actions. Okay, by the actions that are going to take place or by the circumstances. Okay. Now, when you go for implied conditions are of seven types. Okay, seven implied conditions are of seven types. So, what are the seven types of implied conditions? Condition has to title, sale by description. Okay, sale by description. Conditions as to quality or fitness. Condition as to mercantilability. Okay, conditions implied by custom, sale by sample, and condition to wholesomeness. These are the seven types of conditions, implied conditions that we come across. So let us go one by one regarding these implied conditions. And after this, I am going for implied warranties. Okay, condition. There is an implied condition on the part of the seller that in case of sale, he has the right to sell goods, and that in case of agreement to sell, he will have a right to sell the goods at the time when the party is to pass. This is called condition as to title. Now, condition as to title. So, whenever the seller is selling a commodity, the title of the goods must be present. That is, it must be given to the person. Okay, it must be given to the person. And this thing you will come across at the time of sale and agree at the time of agreement to sell also you will come across this implied condition. That's what he is telling. There is an implied condition on the part of the seller that in case of a sale, he has a right to sell goods, and that in case of agreement to sell, he will have a right to sell the goods at the time when the property is to pass. When the property in goods, when they are passing to the buyer, then only you will come across. Suppose blindly you should not, the buyer, he should not blindly purchase the goods. At the same time, the seller also he should not sell the goods blindly. Whatever he is selling, he has to inform. Okay, for example, if the purchaser, if the buyer, if we don't know the product, he'll show that. Okay, and when the seller, it is the responsibility of the seller, he is telling, he has to tell that this is groundnut oil. This is groundnut oil. This is black dal. This is green dal. This is red dal. Like that, he has to tell. So thereby, the purchaser, okay, he will come to know what is groundnut oil, what is red gram, okay, what is black dal. All these things, he will come to know when the buyer or when the purchaser, when he don't know the names. So there is no strict rule that all the things they must be known to all the people. Okay, when you are going to purchase the commodities, you don't. Some of the people even they don't know what is that. Okay, all these things they will tell because they know they will deal with that product and they will tell. And suppose if you take into account the oils, give an oil packet. If you say like that, okay, people they'll give anything. So there you will come across palm olive, Okay, gold drop, freedom oil, okay, natural, like that, sunflower oil, like that you will come across. Okay, so whatever it may be, the oil that you are taking, if it suits for your body, okay, fine. If it does not suit for your body, you have to go for an alternative. So what type of oil you want, first of all, you have to take, you have to think, and you have to go for that. So, so condition as to title is one of the important things that we cover. Next, sale by description. The second one is sale by description. This is nothing but an implied condition phrase. Okay, sale by description. Whatever it may be, the commodity that you are going to sell, you have to describe that. You have to describe that, and basing on the description, the buyer can be in a position to purchase. So you have to describe the commodity. Okay, thereby, if the buyer, if he likes that, he will purchase that. If he doesn't like that, he won't purchase. Okay, when there is a contract of sale by description of goods, there is an implied condition that the goods shall correspond with the description. So whatever he is describing, the goods must correspond. That is, they must be equal to the type of description whatever he had given. So in that manner only you have to describe. So thereby the commodity, they will observe the commodity whether they are according to the description given by the seller or not. If the commodity, if it is corresponding the description given by the seller, and if it is be treated as good to the buyer, immediately he will purchase. Thereby you will come across sale. Goods shall correspond with the description. If the description of the article of the tendered is different in any aspect, it is not the article to bargain for, and the party is not bound to take it. So already I told that. So whatever it may be, the description that you are describing, it should be suitable and it should relate to that. It should be correspondent to the product. Suppose the description is something and the product is something, means then the purchaser, he won't take that. Okay, this is about sale by description. Sale of goods by description includes, okay, what they are included. Where the buyer have not seen the goods and realized on the description given by the sales. See, the buyer, he won't see the goods, but by the description given by the seller, he will come forward to purchase. That is, thereby you will come to see the sales. That is the first thing. When the buyer has seen the goods, he relies not on what he has seen, but what was stated to him. Okay, even though he look after the goods, okay, even though he can able to see the commodity, but he will keep that in his mind, the description, what you have created, what you have given, what you have stated. So taking that into account and comparing with the actual product, he may purchase. So in that way also you'll come across sales. Next, packing of goods may sometimes be a part of description. How you are packing. The packing also, it will play an important role when you go for sale of goods by description. This is the thing that, these are the three things that are included in sale by description. Next one is condition as to quality or fitness. See, whatever it may be, the commodities that you are purchasing, it is different. They must be of quality and fitness. Okay, if they are not as per the quality or fitness, no one will come forward to purchase any goods, thereby you won't come across any sales. In a contract of sale, there is an implied condition as to quality or fitness of the goods for a particular purpose. The buyer must examine the goods thoroughly before he buys in order to satisfy himself that the goods will be suitable for the purpose for which he is buying. So for what purpose is purchasing, for what purpose is buying, it is the duty of the seller to give that type of product. And moreover, the buyer also, he will examine the product. He won't blindly take the thing. When you are taking blindly anything, automatically you will be in loss. Okay, in this context, I will tell you an example. Suppose in your house, if your mother asks you to bring 1 kilo of brinjal, so there she will tell about to bring 1 kg of brinjal. If you go to market and if you are a well-versed person, if you are a good person, what you will do is you will go to the market and you will go to the brinjal shop keeper and you will check all the brinjals whether they are in good condition or not, whether any insects are there, all this. Blindly, if you go to a shopkeeper and ask him, okay, what give me 1 kilo of brinjal. Okay, what he will do is he must sell. He must sell. The idea is there must be sale for me. Okay, that is the quantity of brinjals, they must be exhausted. So what he will do is he will give 1 kilo of brinjal, and if you go home and if your mother cuts half of the brinjals, if they are in damaged condition, then what is the use of purchasing the brinjal? So when you go for market and when you want to purchase a brinjal, 1 kilo of brinjal, you have to see the commodity thoroughly. And when you are satisfied, then only you have to purchase. The seller is not compelling you to purchase this. You yourself, you want to purchase 1 kilo of brinjal. So when you want to purchase 1 kilo of brinjal, you have to check, you have to verify, you have to examine that. And then only if you are satisfied and if you think that they are of good quality or fitness, then only you have to purchase. The seller who you won't compel you to purchase and compel you to take. Okay. But I'm ready to sell the brinjals. That's why I kept. It is your responsibility, it is your headache to see, look after what is good, what is bad. You please leave the bad ones and take the good ones. I'm not restricting you like that. If you ask the seller, he will say like that. My own opinion is, my idea is I want to sell the brinjals. I didn't gone inside and I didn't observe that whether they are in good condition or whether they are in bad condition. It is you, your brain, where does your brain gone? It is you have to examine the brinjals, and when they are good in quality or fitness, then only take. You take 1 kilo or 2 kilos or 3 kilos, whatever it may be. Leave the bad ones. I'm not restricting you. I'm not condemning you. So like that, okay. Condition as to quality or fitness is very, very important. Condition as to mercantilability. Mercantilability. In a contract of sale, when goods are purchased by description from a seller, there is an implied condition that the goods are of mercantilable quality. This means the goods should be such as commercially sellable under the description values. Mercantilable quality. Okay, mercantilable quality. This thing is very, very important. The seller, he must sell the mercantilable quality of goods, as well as the buyer has also, okay, he has to purchase the mercantilable quality of goods. And okay, he should not go as you wish. Okay, the description may be anything, boss. The description may be anything. But thing is, okay, according to the description, whether the commodities are there or not, first of all, you have to see whether they are in mercantilable quality or not. Okay, for sales fund, for easy getting of money, the seller will say anything. The seller will sell anything because he want to mint the money, he want to take the money. So there, it is your responsibility also. You have to see the mercantilable quality. Not only yours, it is also of seller's responsibility. He should not sell the worst quality of products. He has to see whether my products have the mercantilable quality or not. Next, condition implied by custom. The traditions and customs also, they will play an important role. This is also one implied condition. An implied condition as to quality of goods for a particular purpose is required by the usage of trade and custom. Okay, trade and customs, whatever it may be. Okay, the trade, whatever it may be, the custom. According to that only, you have to see the quality of goods. Okay, the quality of goods. It is nothing but an implied condition by the act of the parties. No one will say nothing. Okay, if you see, okay, conditioned customer, or we have to purchase this. So let us go and purchase whatever it may be. Like that, you should not. You have to take into account the custom and the tradition, and according to that custom and tradition, you have to purchase the quality goods, but not the goods as you wish and as you can. That is one implied condition. Next, sale by sample. You see, some people, what they will do is they'll give samples, and there is no hard and strict rule that you will have the same type of the goods. Like how you give sample, okay, the same type of products are available with the seller. Like that, you should not see. You should not think. Whatever it may be, the commodities, you have to observe by a sample, and the same sample, if you like the sample things, the same thing, it should be present over there when you want to go for purchase. Okay, if sample is something and if the goods are something, okay, you should not rely upon sample place. Okay, you should not rely upon sample and think that all the goods are okay, like that sample only. You should not think and you should not take. You must observe the sample and you must see the goods, okay, whether they are suitable, whether they are according to the sample given to me or not. When you satisfy, then only you are supposed to purchase. Then only you are supposed to purchase. A contract of sale by sample will have an express or implied condition, but in most of the cases, it is implied that the bulk quality shall correspond with sample in quality, that the bulk quantity shall correspond with sample in quality. The buyer shall have the reasonable opportunity of comparing the sample with the bulk, and goods shall be free from any defect. You see, he is not telling on the side of seller. He is telling something on the side of seller. At the same time, he is telling to the buyer that you have to purchase the goods, okay, which are nearer to the sample, which are exactly nearer to the sample. Like that, you have to see the goods and you have to purchase the goods. Like that, it is also nothing but an implied condition. Next, condition to wholesomeness. Okay, in case of eatables and provisions, there is an implied condition that they should have mercantilability and should be in wholesome. Okay, it's not piece by piece. It is not piece by piece. Suppose if you take into account this eatables, okay, you have to take. Okay, don't go for. I mean, suppose if you want to take grapes, take half kg or half kg or kg, but don't take one grape and see whether they are of mercantilable quality or not. If they are not mercantilable quality, just leave that. As a whole, you have better observe that wholesomeness. That is nothing but condition to wholesomeness. You have to look after the whole quantity, whole grapes, whether they are in good condition, whether they are in mercantilable quality or not. You have to take into account. Then only you have to purchase. You should not take each and everything, and you should not observe in microscope or telescope. Okay, whatever it may be, and if it is good, if it is according to your this thing, according to mercantilable quality, don't go for that. As a whole, you have to see. And when you come across, okay, fine, they are of mercantilable quality, then you go for the quantity, whatever you want, whether you want to take half kg or 1 kg or pav kg, whatever it may be, you can take. So these are the 7 implied conditions that we come across when we go for implied conditions. Now, what are the implied warranties? Implied warranties are of 4 types. Warranty of quiet possession, warranty of freedom from encumbrance, warranty as to quality of fitness, warranty to disclose dangerous nature. These are the 4 implied warranties that we come across. Okay, first one is warranty of quiet possession. There is an implied warranty that a buyer shall have and enjoy quiet possession of the goods. If the buyer in any way is disturbed in the enjoyment due to seller effective title to sell, he can claim damages from the seller. You see, the seller, he will tell something. In the teller, he will say something. Okay, and to induce the people to purchase the goods. Okay, to purchase the goods, he will say so many things. But thing is, the buyer, he must have that quiet possession of the goods. Okay. There is an implied warranty that a buyer shall have and enjoy quiet possession of the goods. If the buyer in any way is disturbed in the enjoyment due to seller's effective title to sell, he can claim damages from the seller. Okay, that is the thing that you will come across. Next, warranty of freedom and freedom from encumbrance. There should not be any person. There should not be any thing. Initiation to first warranty. The buyer is entitled to a further warranty that the goods are not subject to any charge in favor of third party. Okay, there should not be any charge in favor of a third party. If you are having like that, then you should not go for that purchase of the goods. Initiation to first warranty. The buyer is entitled to a further warranty that the goods are not subject to any charge in favor of third party. If his position in any way described by the implied warranty, he can claim damages for breach of warranty. Encumbrance means, okay, you will come across this. There should not be any charge. Okay, there should not be any charge in favor of a third party. For example, if you want to take a house, you have to go for encumbrance certificate. That is, the party who is going to sell that, he should not be any due. He should not have any dues regarding the tax and other electricity fees, electricity charges, or like that. He should not. He must be complete. The thing is, it should be clean. So that warranty, we'll call that thing as implied warranty. Warranty of freedom from encumbrance, a charge in favor of a third party. Okay, in that case, suppose if he blindly takes, he can go for damages for breach of warranty. Next, warranty as to quality of fitness. An implied warranty as quality of fitness for a particular purpose may be use or uses of trade. So here also you have to take into account, okay, quality of fitness, whether they will be fitted to us or not. You have to think. When they are not fitted, you should not take that. In this context, so many examples you can take. Okay, small children, they'll go for they'll show more anxiety for kurkures and lace because they will be very attractive to their eyes. But thing is, suppose if they take this kurkure or lace, whatever it may be, automatically their health will spoil. So whether they are fit or not to them, they have to take. Okay. So that is the thing that we have to take into account as implied warranty. And warranty to disclose dangerous nature. When a person sells goods, knowing that the goods are dangerous or likely to be dangerous to the buyer, and if the buyer is ignorant, the seller must warn the probable danger, otherwise he will be liable to damages. You see, suppose blindly if you want to purchase any commodity and which is very dangerous, in that case, it is a duty of the seller to inform about the dangerous situation by purchasing the commodity. For example, potassium cyanide, you don't know that it is very dangerous. If you want to purchase the potassium cyanide, then the seller, he will inform you, sir, this is very dangerous medicine. You should not go and you should not purchase this. If you purchase without hearing my words, if you purchase and if anything happens, don't claim me anything. I'm not going to give any damages. Before that, I'm telling you this, the product is so dangerous. Like that, the seller, he will inform. And even then, if you purchase, it is you have to bear that. Okay, this is about the implied conditions and implied warranties. And now I'm stopping here. And next class, we are going for a new topic in Sale of Goods Act. Okay, so until then, have a nice day.